Well, all right, all right, all right, all right. Hello there. It's another glorious Wednesday, darlings. And you know what time it is, honey, so I hope you got all of your crumpets together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meach. Hey, babies. What's going on, honey? I am sitting up here. Y'all know when I get excited about a show and things because I act as if I don't know how to contain myself and things of that nature. However, I'm going to pull it all together and say, yes, this is going to be cute and fun and wonderful and lovely and all of those particular things. For those of you who don't know, my guest today, honey, is just going to take us there. I've already told him that he's one of my secret husbands. This secret husband number 217. Darling, we're going to get into that in a minute. I'm going to tell him why he's my secret husband in just a few moments. Well, it's not a secret anymore. Okay, I'm ready to play Beyonce, honey, put a ring on it, but we'll talk about that later. Anywho, children, honey, thanks for tuning in, honey. For those of you who are listening and would like to participate, please feel free to call in at 347-205-9183. That's 347-205-9183. Now, I want you to press the number 1 that will raise your hand on my call screen so that I know you want to talk, and then we will go from there, okay? If you want to chat over there in the tea room, honey, if you're listening by computer, the tea room is open, so just go right on over there, honey, and oh, excuse me, I got a catch in my throat. Go right on ahead over there and dish your tea over there responsibly. Now, let me just let you know this right up front over here. In the tea room, honey, it is okay to express yourselves. If you have questions or whatever, throw them up in there if you can't call in right now, and I will get to them as I see them and et cetera, et cetera. But just remember, this is the written word. A lot of us, we take our own personal experience into when we're reading, and we think that someone may be saying something with a different, trying to be that way, and that may not necessarily be the case. So just go over there, dish your tea responsibly. Remember, it's okay to disagree, just don't be disagreeable. Okay, because if I come over there and see that y'all over there cutting up, honey, I'm going to cut your asses, okay? I will cut you to the white meat, sugar, and it'll be done, okay? So just dish your tea over there responsibly. Having said that, I'm going to put my disclaimer here. This show is for mature audiences, and this language and or subject matters are not appropriate for children or anyone who is not mature to handle the subject matters. Your listening discretion is advised. I will repeat. This show is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters are not suitable for children or anyone not mature to handle the subject matters. Your listening discretion is advised. Now, for those of you who know, y'all know I have a potty mouth. I make no excuses for it. I'll be 42 in a few weeks, and I make no excuses for it, honey. I've earned the right to have this mouth. So if you're at work, or have children around, honey, now is the time to govern yourself accordingly, honey. If you got headphones, put your headphones on, turn the volume down to a respectable level, call it grace, because y'all know I'm coming out of a bag. I just don't know which one I'm coming out of. So at this point, consider yourselves warned, because none of you bitches are going to sit up there sending me dear meat letters and this, that, and the other about you getting demerits on the job. So consider yourselves warned. Now, if you have questions, comments, concerns, show ideas, guests that you would like to see come on to the show, or anything like that, please feel free to go to www.dishingtea.com, www.dishingtea.com, or you can email me directly at Big Meach, BIGMEACH, @dishingtea.com, and that would be lovely, okay? All right, I feel fabulous. Oh, I have special announcements coming in, honey. One of the things I will announce now, and I will announce it again later, this weekend, for those of you who are in the Detroit area, over in Redford, Michigan, and in let's see, what's those surrounding areas? Redford, Southfield, and all of over there in the Detroit area. My coach, my high school drama coach, Susan Story, is directing an adaptation or the Detroit local version of the Vagina Monologues. And not only is she directing it, one of our own from our cast of La Trope des Arts members, honey, Miss Chandra Tipler, is going to be in that production as well. So I'm going to give you all the information about where to get tickets and all of that later on in the show, okay? So just know that this weekend, honey, the Vagina Monologues will be performed under the direction of Miss Susan Story. That's my coach, honey. So shout out to La Trope des Arts. And I have a couple other announcements coming up later on in the show regarding 5 more artists. For those of you who need advertisement and carrying on, we're getting ready for our new program booklet, and we would like for you to advertise your new show, your new this, your new that, in the advertisement booklet. We'll give you more information soon. But let's get into this because I am very excited. I called today's show. Today's show is titled Baby GAT Got Bit by a Mosquito. So we're going to get into this, honey. My guest today, honey, you guys know him as the suave, somewhat crazy, antic, British, speaking rapper that was in love with Noah, honey, from Noah's Ark. He went on, and he has this beautiful face. He has this fabulous body. And he sat up there and came onto the screen, and he let us have it, okay? So much so, honey, too. I think a lot of us were wishing we were Noah at some point at within that time. So since then, Jason Steed has gone on and past the Noah's Ark days. He's gone on and have created a one-man show. He has done other film, other projects, other theater portions, and other theater projects and everything. And today we're going to get into the life of the one and only. This is Mr. Jason Steed. Hello there, my darling. How are you?
Bonjour, I'm wonderful, thank you. How you doing?
Don't you do that and have me sit up here blushing like a little schoolgirl already now. I told you. Okay?
How are you? I love the whole intro thing. I think it's fantastic. I love it.
Oh,
I was enjoying
thank you. Well, honey, we're about to get ready to get into enjoying you even further because all of my audience and stuff, as I said, we've all lusted after you. I'm sure a number of us, honey, have had personal time in quotations, about you and this, that, and the other. But now, we get an opportunity to get into the world of Jason Steed. So let's start at the beginning of, let's see, do I want to go all the way back to, playing the violins, or do I want to, let's not go back to the violins. Let's go here when you decided to become a functioning worker over here in America and wanted to get into acting and come here and do this, because I'm understanding that a lot of your influences came from American television. So let's go there.
Well, growing up in London, watching TV, I never saw people that looked like me or represented me on television back then. There was no black folk on TV. And it was on the American shows where I saw, black people on television. So I always looked at that and I said, well, if I'm going to be an actor and I want to do this, I have to go to America, because at the time, that was like the only place where I thought, well, I'd be accepted. And then at the time also, afterwards, I started learning about the American dream and anything being possible. So that's why when I knew I was going to be an actor, it had to be that I was going to come to America. It never changed.
Right. Oh, well, dig that. Dig that. Okay, so now you got here to America. What was that experience like for you when you first got here, not knowing the country, not knowing your way around? What was those earlier days for you?
It was a total shock to the system, because I was like, wow, it's not what I thought. It wasn't. There was no American dream. It was almost like England. Everyone was just working, trying to get by. I was like, wow, I didn't really know anyone, so I was just figuring it out for myself. It was tough. it's still tough. It's still a lot to learn, and there's always new things because it's different laws, different regulations. The people are different, the culture's different, the food is different. But it's but that's all part of the fun for me. So when I got
Really?
here, yeah, it's all part of fun. But it's tough. I'm like, in England it's a lot easier, but it's not to say that in England it's easier. It's what I'm used to. So it's just getting
Right, exactly.
here. Yeah.
But now, you know what? Here's a cute dynamic. What was your idea, or what was it for you when you encountered the kind of racism that we have over here in America between black skin, white skin? What was that like for you?
Speaking personally, whereas I'm English and I have the English accent, people see me differently. And I can't say how they see anybody else, but I know like when they hear my accent, even in terms of the racism and stuff, for what I've seen so far, when they hear that I'm British, it's almost like they look at me like, oh, he's different. He's not, African American or whatever. They see me as something different. Even African American blacks out here see me as different. They're like, oh, you're not one of us. And I'm like, I might not be born here, but the same. That someone pick up the same stick and lick me with them the same way they'd get hit with it too.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's kind of wow. That's fascinating me. Because I've never heard it from that particular perspective. I know when we hear that accent, honey, everybody likes to melt. Everybody wants to mimic it. Everybody wants to talk like it. Everybody wants you to say something. Oh, say something. They're begging you to talk.
Yeah.
Just to hear the accent itself. But wow, I never realized that from your perspective that you would be still seen as or looked upon as an outsider. That's very dynamic. Very dynamic. Okay, now let's go into you're becoming inoculated with American culture, and now you're going to let's go into the craft. You're going into the whole idea of acting. When you came here, where did you settle? Did you settle in New York or L.A.?
I settled in L.A.
Oh, so you went to La La Land.
Yes, I went straight to L.A. Yeah.
Okay, so now you're out there in the land of see, here in America we call L.A. the land of plastic, and particularly those of us who are in the business. I'm an actor, I'm a singer and writer and all those kind of things, but we call L.A. the land of plastic because a lot of folks out there, it's all about the image, it's all about the look, and it's all about this and that. As opposed to New York. New York is always about the grit and the grime, and you got to be out there on the hustle and blah 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 blah. And it's kind of like this tit for tat battle between the two. So you settled in L.A. Now take us through that journey of getting into acting classes and then making your way there, and some of the jobs that you had to take to keep a roof over your head.
Okay, so when I was in LA now, it's just like what you say. People would say, "Oh, so you're an actor," and then they'd want to see your six pack, and that's like that governs how great of an actor you are. And I was like, wow, this doesn't make any sense to me, because in England it's the same kind of way. It's about the craft and the work. They don't really give a damn about how big your muscles are or how blonde your hair is, But then what was that? So I went to LA. I joined an acting school. I looked at some, but where I did so much training back in England, I was like, it was more like a fresher thing, just to stay working, just to stay, I guess, to keep the machine going. Because once I got to LA, I was like, wow, everyone is an actor or something, even though they've never acted in their lives.
Okay.
So I was like, well, how am I gonna fit into this? So even though they say it's the land of the plastic, I was like, it's a perception. And then I started looking at it, and I was like, this place is very, very real, because they are telling you exactly what it is. When you speak to people, they're about money. And I was like, okay, I understand that now. It's just a different way of having to look at this and understand it. It's not that the people are fake. They're very, very real, but they're driven and orientated for that environment while they're there. You know, so that's how I started looking at it. So I worked in a burger bar for a couple of weeks. I worked at a hotel. I was always constantly getting fired from jobs. I did limo driving, and I didn't even know the town. Like 2 weeks in, I was behind the car of a limo driving like I know where I'm going. You know,
Lord.
But that's what I say. That's all part of the fun. You know, so people would get in the car, and I didn't have a GPS, and they'd be saying, "Right, go here," and I'd be like, I'd tell you, I didn't have a clue, but I would say to the person, "Which way do you like to go?" And obviously they would hear my accent now, and be like, "Oh," and then everything would spin out now, and they'd be more interested in hearing me talk, and then they'd guide me. So that's how I so I have to become part of the LA razzmatazz and pretend, that thing until you make it. So, I learned a lot in LA. You learn a lot there. You learn about a lot about yourself very, very fast there.
Really?
Very, very, yeah. Very fast.
What do you think is your greatest lesson that you've learned about yourself thus far?
Thus far, I would say that whatever I love, whatever I really, really like, LA will give it to me 100%. So I've got to be careful of my what would you call it? The things that I really, really want, my little secret desires. LA will have it there, and it can pull you from whatever you're supposed to be doing. It can just say, if you love to party, it's always going to have a party for you. If you love to drink, it's always going to have drink. If you love, whatever you love, it's going to be there, and that's what you've got to be careful of. Yet that little desire, that little secret thing is going to give it to you constantly, day in, day out. It will be there, day in, day out, and you never get nothing done. So that's
really?
what I've learned. I was like,
Interesting.
You end up thinking, I can, it becomes like a mirage where you're like, wow, every single day, if you love to lay it in the sun, you can lay it in the sun every single day in LA. Not to say at the end of the 3, 4, 5 years that you get anything done, but if you like to lay it will allow you to do it.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. Wow. See, there's so many piggyback questions onto that, because having hear that from you, it tends to now help me to understand why some of my friends and stuff. I have a lot of friends who've gone out to LA, that are a part of the entertainment industry, and a lot got strung out. They've had to battle drugs, they had to battle alcohol. Some got into prostitution. Whether they liked it or not, it's all of the above. Where they took those things. And how is it that you were able to maintain your focus? Once you realized, okay, if I don't focus, this can suck me up. How was it that you were able to maintain your focus?
I tell you how I maintained my focus. I went home for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then I ended up staying home for a whole year.
Get out.
Yeah, because that was what it was. It was eating me up too. The same kind of thing what usually happens to a lot of people. And then my family was on the phone, and they were like, "Come home," and and I was like, "You ain't seen me back in London again." And I was like, "All right." So I said, "Let me just come home for 2 weeks," and then we're out just being around my family, and just seeing all the. It just made it brought it all home to me, of how lucky I am, what all the support that I've got, and that I'm not alone, and so I can be partying, and that it almost becomes really, really selfish when you've got this great opportunity, and you just go out there and you're just I just call it sucking off the land, because it is that kind of that's how that is how I really that's how I really just I developed like a laser focus after that.
Interesting. Now here is the $25,000 question. Prior to you having to, not prior, after regaining your focus and after saying, okay, let's do this, what was the hardest lesson you think you've learned thus far with dealing with American culture, LA life, being in the entertainment, all of that? What was the hardest lesson that you had to learn?
To say the hardest lesson I've had to learn is a tough one. I would say, because, you know, I'm constantly learning and paying attention to stuff. You know, some opportunities have come that have been blown, some have come and wasn't right. So, you know, and that's the lesson. It's just being ready and knowing that, you know, I guess you've been blessed with a certain kind of gift to do something, so just do it. And don't take it for granted because you could easily lose it. I guess that thing. I could easily have lost. There was even points when I thought I couldn't act. You know, I was like, God, I've lost my gift to tell a story and to read lines, and, you know, because I started to doubt myself.
You know, okay.
Really started to doubt myself, and, you know, because I guess because you're around people, it's a weird thing, LA, because you're around people that are about the work, and you're also around the people that are just about the show. So what I mean is some people that just really, really want to make money, and they want to come. They're in that kind of box, in that kind of room, in that office, but you can't get into there. So you're outside with everyone else just talking about, let's do this. Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm doing that, but nothing is really happening. And it gets disheartening after a while because you start thinking, is it me? You know. I know people that were doing films, and you know they wouldn't cut you a break and say, here's a little role for you. You know, it's amazing, you know, but it is what it is. You know, when these people say, hey, I love your work, and da-da-da, I'm doing this film and doing this, and you'd be like, yeah, you know, the next thing they're casting it around you and not involving you at all. You know,
okay.
I guess it is what it is, but so that's the lesson I've got to learn is nobody's going to want this more than me, regardless of where I am in the world.
Dig that. Okay. Now let's fast forward just a little bit, and let's get you to you becoming a part of the cast of Noah's Ark. What was all this for you when it was presented to you, and your audition process? What was this experience for you?
Well, I had known Patrick for a few years back in England, Patrick and Pope. And so he had seen a lot of my work back then anyway. So when he used to come over to London, I was always telling him I want to move to Hollywood, I want to come out and be an actor. And he had the pilot. I remember he came over and he'd screen the pilot. And I watched the pilot, and then, you know, he didn't know what was going to happen with it, neither did I. But when I'd watched the pilot, and him and Jensen Atwood was in town and screening it. So when I asked him to sign my autograph, he signed it and he says, I want you in this show. You know, and I was like, yeah, right, like, how's that, you know. And then I remember, I think it was like 2 years after that now, when I guess he had, you know, gone on to do things out in America. But I was still in England, so I hadn't seen or heard anything what was going on with it. So he used to he used to get with the writers for the second season, and they used to write in England. So they needed actors to do a table read. And I was one of the actors called into table read. So I read, not just for Baby Gap, I read all the different parts. Not auditioning, but just reading it so they could hear how it sounds. And that's when I first saw the Baby Gap. I was like, wow, this character's great, but it even threw me off. You know, it was such a lively kind of character. I was like, I've never seen it or, you know, watched a character like this before. So,
really? Oh,
yeah, so,
okay.
So it was way before the seasons had even been made. They started doing the second season, which probably like maybe 7-8 months later. You know that when they got to that kind of Baby Gap bit now, that's when, you know, I got the call, but I already knew about the character because I knew about the whole season already, but I remembered it vaguely. So then put something down on tape. Put a scene down on tape, and then that was it. You know, sent it off to Patrick, and next thing I was offered the cast, and I, you know, became part of the When I Knew. Just I was like, wow, this is amazing. You know.
Now let's go here because when Baby GAT was introduced to the cast, dear God in heaven, okay. Number one, his particular style and his, I don't like to use the word swagger because I think it's overused, but for lack of a better word right now because I can't think, his demeanor, his disposition, his swagger, his attributes, his charisma, okay, hit us, baby, like like nothing else. Okay, he was ghetto thug, with this British accent going on. He just became an amalgamation of, I think, everybody's fantasy rolled up into one. What things about Baby GAT are similar to Jason, and what was it that you had to develop for Baby GAT?
I think with that kind of role, everything had to really, really be developed. It's always one thing. When you play a character and they put you in the clothes, it starts to find its own life. So once I saw the clothes and they showed me the wardrobe and they said, right, this, that, and now I could piece stuff together, and then I put it on. Then then the walk and everything started to come together itself. But before then, I had no idea how it was going to be read. Because it was my own insecurities at the time. I'm like, are they going to like it? Is it going to So I made sure one thing I made sure was I didn't watch I didn't want to watch the first season of the show. I almost wanted to come into it really, really blind. Although I know what the episodes was about, I wanted to come into it really, really blind, so I wouldn't fit into the tone of the show. That was kind of what I was hoping for. That it would be like, bam, what is this? Where has this person come from?
Exactly. Well, you did it. You did it, and I'm gonna speak on behalf of America, okay? Because you did just that. If I were to do a character analysis of Baby GAT, I looked at him. I was like, okay, he likes Charlie Chaplin. He's a very musical person. He was very deep because he was an intellectual, and a lot of folks didn't catch that. But I direct too, so I look at stuff very differently. So as Baby GAT was coming together, I was like, wow, this is fucking hot. And then he gave so much, only to have such a little time. He was one of those pivotal characters. He came in, he come out, but his presence was so. I have to commend you for that, because you worked me for that. You worked me for that. It was always about, Darren and Jensen, that there was typical gay life that we knew couples to go through. You get the thug trade or whatever, who don't really know about themselves or blah blah blah. So we've seen that dynamic, but to see someone, with this particular disposition and charisma come up, and you trying to holler at this boy, and then he really want to holler but can't. And then how Baby GAT left his trademark with him and got this boy thinking about him all the time. Jason, that was absolutely brilliant for me.
Thank you.
That was brilliant, because it was real life. It was like, okay, oh my God, I got this man at home, but yet I'm thinking about this one because, oh my Lord, Jesus, it was all. It was all of those kinds of a dynamic for me. Now, here comes the $55,000 question. I love putting price values on here so folks can get it. With Noah's Ark being a gay themed and basically a gay storyline, does everyone question your sexuality? Are you an out actor? Are you a straight actor playing gay? Or do you answer that question and let folks speculate on their own? What is all of that for you?
To me, I'm an actor telling the story. So when people, I don't think people question it no more. Because when they see my other work, they're like, okay, he's just this kind of actor, but I'm just an actor playing a role. But in terms of giving it weight and saying, well, this is this, because it's just, at the end of the day, it's on TV. It's presented that people can watch. When you do a role and you're playing like a drug dealer, nobody says, wow, this person's really this or really that. So, I don't know.
Now, do you find that being different here in America, because as you see in American culture, that there has precedent over here versus over in England and other places where sexuality is really not the issue when it comes down to the work. It's about the work. Over here in America, just like you said, as you could be a dope dealer, dope pusher, you could be the murderer, the schizophrenic, whatever. All of that doesn't matter. But the second someone plays a gay character, then all of a sudden everybody wants to know if you're gay or not, if you're real, if you're this, if you're that. Do you find that difficult over here?
I find it difficult, but it's the same way back in London, especially with the black folk. If you play that kind of role, or if you take it on, then that's what everyone starts raising the flags at this. But I did a movie called Bashment, and I was playing a homophobic character, and everyone was questioning the same thing. Are you really homophobic? Do you really hate the gay people? And I was like, no, I'm an actor playing a role. But I didn't really get that at the time. I just thought that, people, because sometimes when we used to finish the show, I used to come out and people used to turn their back on me. I'd be like, oh, damn, that must mean they hate me. But it was because of the character that they saw. My character was the total opposite to Baby GAT. Opposite to Baby GAT. But he was just against musicians, same kind of music kind of character. But it was just, this character was just hardcore. He just wasn't in for that. So when audiences would see it, they're like, oh, you're the homophobic one. You're the one that hates gays. And I'm like, no, I'm an actor playing a role.
Dig it.
So I guess it's a good thing of how brilliantly you play a role. Now that's why I have to put it in the box off. Because you play these roles and people think that it's really
right. Exactly. That's true. I am an openly gay actor, and anytime I'm on I tell folks, you want to see me play straight, you have to come. You have to pay for that performance because that's only on stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's it. How would you find playing that kind of role? So when they see you playing straight, and they say, "Wow, I didn't know you've turned straight." How has it flipped for you?
That's a very good question. For me, what ends up happening is that I get a lot of females who would come up to me and say, "See, I knew it. A lot of them come up there and say, I knew if I just prayed long enough, honey, you was gonna come right." That kind of thing. I've had women. Oh my God. Oh, I was doing a show. I really didn't want to hurt her feelings because you saw it. This woman came up to me, and see, like I'm 6'4", I'm 300 and over 300 pounds, so I'm a big old teddy bear, and you saw it in her face. She come over to me and gave me all kinds of loving and hugging, and you know how women nestle in your arms.
Yeah.
That sister sat up there nestled all up in me, and I was like, oh my God, she done fell in love. And I didn't want to hurt her feelings, right? But she was like, and she throwing her rap hard. And I had to tell her, I said, sweetheart, you and I want the same things out of life. And of course, I was trying to let her down easily. But she didn't get it,
Yeah.
And I was like, no, baby, no, we really want the same things out of life. And she said, really? I said, yeah, the husband, the 2.5 children, the white picket fence, the 2-car garage. And when I said that to her, you actually saw her world just shatter. Her face, if there was ever a time where I really broke somebody's mug, that was the time.
Yeah.
That woman, she looked at me and was just absolutely mortified. And I was like, oh my, and I mean, so much so to where that was almost 20 years ago. And it's still, when I talk about it, I still feel her because that's how intense it was.
But she's probably sitting there somewhere not blaming you still. She'll be like, God, it was supposed to be you.
Right. Exactly.
Probably said, I had dreams too, and I just met you and you spoiled it.
Exactly. Now, here is a question, because going from the logo series to now you guys did the film, was that the transition? Was that difficult to lose the show and then just relate to the movie, or were you kind of expecting it? What was that?
For me, whether they was going to make another series, whether it was going to go to a film, it didn't really, it didn't matter, because what I always loved about Noah's Ark, is that it just seemed like it was what was it, only 8 episodes I think each season. So it kind of came in, told its story, and then left. And I think, how did it end? The character, there was a car crash or something, right? So I was interested to find out how they was going to spin it off, really. You know, how if they was going to bring the characters back, if they was going to do it like a death thing, or, you know. So when it came time that it was going to be the movie, I was just glad that they was going to do something, to keep the story going, I love it.
Right.
And then especially for them to be getting married, and at the time when they was getting married, I know that was reflecting what was really, really going on in America at the time. With
exactly.
The whole marriage thing becoming popular. If it's going to be... I still don't understand it, because they say in terms of states, and some states, I don't know, but, but I think in LA it was becoming, the Prop 8? So it made sense. It tied in what was going on with the time, although we'd filmed it before then. It just all of a sudden became like the most popular thing. So doing the movie was a lot of fun,
Okay, now if it was a lot of fun, I have to go here, because I think you solidified your place as my husband number 217, and that's the scene, honey, where you went running across naked, honey, to the hot tub, and all your glory and all that deliciousness and all of that everything. Now that was you. That wasn't a body double, right?
Yeah, that was me.
Lord God, help me, honey. Help me.
That was freezing cold. That was...
Really?
But, you see, that was the thing what I liked about it. When I used to read the script for Baby GAT, I always loved that he could do anything. And I was like... Because I get really, really excited. I'm like, wait till they see this. You get like the words on the page, and I'm like, right, bam, this is how I'm going to do it, or I'm going to, make my take on it. But... so I remember, because it was really, really snowing, so I remember the crew and everyone shoveling the snow out of the way so I could run. It was freezing, and they were like, oh, we're going to close the set down. I'm like, it's fine. Just show me where the thing is, where I've got to run to. Bam, and I'm just going to go for it. Let's just go,
Right. How many takes? Oh, how many takes?
I think it was probably one.
You did it one take? Good.
It was probably one take, but what I mean is there was someone every step of the way. So when the car was warmed up, everything was just there, perfect. Bam, did it. And then someone was there waiting now to always make sure I was warm, because then now there was a seat in the hot tub,
Right. Well, y'all pull Noah in the hot tub and all that.
Yeah, so making sure that me and Daryl was taken care of, But it was fun, One day I'll look back on that and be like, wow, that was me. I'd be like, that was me. But
go ahead.
I was going to say, but that's all the fun of being an actor, a storyteller. You do stuff that isn't you. It becomes you,
No, exactly. That's what I love about it myself, because I get to be someone else for a change. See the world through somebody else's eyes, or at least let someone else either see themselves or see a different perspective from another point of view.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the whole industry itself. Now, we were talking earlier about being in L.A. and the whole idea of body image and this, that, and the other. What has that become for you? Because, like I said, and I'm gonna tease you, and I'm gonna really, really, really put my bid in, because now seriously talking, now you are just incredible. When you came onto the scene, Patrick actually did wonderfully with casting you, because number one, of your stature, you also had that thickness. So as far as gay community is concerned, between you and Gregory Keith, that gave that dynamic, because Trey, being that bodybuilder as well, we were able to see the thick boys come on out, and then of course Rodney being thick, and being flaming or whatever. But we had that big girl, that whole thing, that dynamic within gay culture. So what is your regimen and stuff like to maintain your body? Because of course, we finna get to go into Mosquito now because, I done seen some of the trailers and things about Mosquito. So we finna, yes, honey, talk about that.
Well, I tell you, from being in LA, I used to love going to the gym and pushing weights. And when I started living in LA, one day I was in the gym and I see this guy pull out this bandana. You know, like how they do in the movies where they wrap it around his head and he's looking in the mirror, staring at himself. And then I looked at this other guy, and this other guy was working out on his arms in the mirror. And I was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. So I stopped going to the gym and I started doing free running. And I took up running and, gymnastics. And I was like, if I'm going to train and stay in shape, I can't do it in the gym no more, because it being in LA, it gave it a whole different perspective to me. It was more about, this is me. And I was like, no, I love doing this for health reasons and everything. And I just saw everyone in the window, and I was like, why? Why? I'm like, have I become programmed to become conditioned to this now? So then that's when I started doing free riding, and I was like, well, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to train my own different way. So now I started, running and tumbling off buildings and doing flips and somersaults and pushing, but no, it's now also pushing my mind of what I believe is possible, So it's like, so I've been doing that for the last few years now.
Interesting. Gymnastics. Oh, that's how that ass stay tight. Got it. Got it. Gymnastics. I have not. Like I said, I'm over 300 pounds now. So, me and gymnastics and all that kind of tumbling and stretching, I left that alone in childhood. When I used to play basketball, I used to do all that kind of stuff. But anywho, let me do this. I'm going to play something that is going to take us into the next wave of this. Where is my... here we go. Let's do this. Did it play? No, there we go.
Oh! You 16-year-olds out here, you sound like, ooh, what is that big? So let them send me back to jail. Like a white woman. Where the phone to ring? I'm gonna stab you out when I see you in the wing of my house. Bring him these in. Relax the place. In the moment. Because of being present.
This announcement will be a free check-in announcement for those passengers that will travel today.
All right. That there was your promo that you have on YouTube introducing your new one-man show, Mosquito. What is the implication behind this show, and what gave you the fortitude to say, okay, after 4 years, I'm actually doing this? What is that dynamic for you?
Damn, even just listening to that, I can't see it, and it kind of just ran me back through my whole life, just listening to that little bit. Wow. What it was is I always wanted to do a one-man show. I never knew what I wanted to do a one-man show about, but I just knew that I wanted to tell a story of some sort. And I started doing stand-up comedy, and I was like, well, when you do stand-up comedy, it can take years to build up 5 minutes, like a complete act.
Right.
So I was like, damn, let me stick to what I know. I know how to act. So let me try and figure out something where I act and act out a show and just play all the parts. And that's how Mosquito kind of came around. But what it was is I'd written my whole life story. Everything that happened from when I was a child and every little bit, and I gave it to my mum and my sister, and I said, look, bam, here it is. And I gave it to my friend Nathan Clough, who directed it, and then we started to we used that to try and chop up a show and make a show. So when people see the Mosquito, it wasn't like I just sat down and that was what came out. It was It was everything. My whole life I'd written. So at some point I've got a book ready to go.
Oh.
You know, a book already written, sitting down there that will come out one day. And that's how the Mosquito came around. You know, just it was chopping up and it started to make itself. And I was like, wow, it's talking about my journey up until this point. So it goes up until how I ended up being in Noah's Ark, how I got to America, you know, all the ups and the downs, all that you go through in life, all the hurdles that life throws you at, you know. But I just believed and I just kept going. And when I couldn't go anymore, I just kept believing and, you know, just kept going and it shows you that, you know, I always wanted to be on a TV show in America and get here and no matter what, I did it, you know. So it goes up to a point. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, here is the question that I've been burning, because when I think of a mosquito, I think of either a blood-sucking insect, you know, something that you swat, something that has a limited lifespan. Why did you choose this particular title? What does it mean to you?
When I was raised very, very conscious and knowing my history and everything, and my mum is very, very conscious. So we was doing a study where I think when I was at home last year, and we was reading about coming of age, when the young African boys would come of age, and there's certain stuff that they would have to go through. They'd have to put themselves in these environments, and they can't run for help, and you know they have to get locked away, and every story has a double meaning. So something can seem like it's really good, but then it could mean something else at the same time. And the Mosquito was, you know, when I looked at the rites of passage of young African boys, how it used to be, it was that it kind of summed up what a mosquito was. A mosquito brings a lot of information. It tells you about your surroundings. It will suck your blood, but it's telling you about the universe. You know, if it's around, it's telling you there's swamps. It's, you know, we're all symbiotes. We're all here together. So a mosquito is playing a role, and that's when I was like, that's the name. You know, the name picked itself. You know, but it was the double meaning. You know, it can be a nuisance or it can be a messenger. You know. And when I was learning about the rites of passage, a lot of the stuff what the African boys used to go through, it was like I was going through my own rites of passage. You know, I did get you know, locked away. I did put myself in certain kind of situations because I wanted to see how I'd handle it, not knowing that at the time. But you'll see that when people watch the show, they'll be like, wow, you know. Yeah.
Wow. What was your opening night like? Because I know you did it back home, and you were here in New York, and now you're about to play it in L.A. How has the show improved over the time?
Well, on the opening night, it was all my family there, a lot of friends. It was, you know, a big place in London, and I was really, 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 really nervous because it was just me on my own, you know. And it was, you know, bar the story and everything, it was just me overcoming a fear that I've always had, that I was like, I can't do this, you know. So once, I remember doing it halfway through the show, when on the first night, and I was like, wow, it's just me on my own. Nobody's going to come through and help me out with this. You know, and then when that happened, I dried and I forgot some lines, and I was like, uh-oh, this is like my fear coming through now, where I'm drying now, and there's no one that's going to cover me. So I just, you know, you have to kind of figure it out now and bob and weave now, because nobody knows that there's a mistake that's happening. You know, so, you know, I figured my way out of it. And then it was afterwards, when it was the feedback that I got from everybody. That's what everyone was like, wow, that was amazing. But sometimes as an actor, you don't always want to hear people telling you how wonderful you are, because then you always want to hear that, you know.
Right.
But when people started talking about the story and they didn't know that I went through this and they didn't know that I went through that. I was like, wow, people actually paid attention. So when I started doing other shows now, I had more of a confidence now that, okay, at least I've got a decent script, or that people will follow in it. You know, they're not all sleeping and thinking, oh, my God, you know, you've got to come and watch this, and how long is this going on for? And so when industry people saw it in London too, and they were like, wow, they were just amazed. And I was like, man, I think I've you know, stumbled onto something. And it was the same thing when I did my show to New York now, when I did off Broadway, and someone said to me, Baby GAT is such a tiny part of your life. And he knows that from when he saw the one-man show. It's like, your range is so much even more further. We know, you know, and it was getting feedback from the audience. Because it was like, oh, Baby GAT is a tiny, tiny part, because that's what everyone knows me for, is playing Baby GAT. But they don't know all the stuff that, not that my life is any more important than anybody else's, but it's just the fact that I'm saying, here I am, this is me. You know, this is how I got to this point in my life. You know?
Exactly.
And it's actually 18 characters. It was 15, but it's 18 now. You know, but it's just having fun. You know, he started off being 31. And then the director, Nathan Clubb, was like, you know, you've got 31 characters. But I was like, yeah, fine, that's okay, because all of it is real. The story is real, so it's just me. You know, certain bits is entertainment, but it's telling a true story, you know. And that's why I told myself in the end, when a story is true, people are more interested in a true story because it's not fabricated. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now, let me do a comparison here, because outside of this being your own work, okay, what are the differences? Because I missed you when you were here in Atlanta doing the Penis Monologues.
Oh yeah.
And I saw the show, but I came the week after that you were here. I thought you were going to do the full run, and they were like, "Oh no." I said, "What?" And I was evil because I couldn't get the time off work to get there.
Yeah.
But between that particular expression, because the character that you played in Penis Monologue, I think it was Big Dick.
No, it was
that particular
Dick or something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't even remember. Yeah.
Okay. Between that and that being very that show, there was a very huge expressionary show from a male's perspective. That, and then incorporating or going to Mosquito, what are the dynamic differences between that? Is it just the fact that Mosquito is your life, and Penis Monologues was just an interpretation of something? Or were you able to pull from some of your collaborative pieces and then make that, you know, a part of Mosquito?
Well, it's the same thing. What the difference is when I did Penis Monologues, I was just an actor turning up to do a performance. So it's almost
dig it. Okay.
So you could always blame anything else and say, you know what, as long as I turn on up and I do my thing, you know, so when you're handed the lines, I just look at it now and figure out what I'm going to pull and how am I going to do this. And I think I had a week to prepare for that one, because when I got in town, we did the play the next week. So the guys that I did the play with, they were all real supportive, because there was even bits where I was like, uh-oh, you know, where the lines went, and now it's just improvisation time. But I had said that to them. I said, if you see me do that, so everyone, it just worked. With the Mosquito now, it's even if I try and put on a great performance, I carry the load. So if people don't like it, there's no way I can blame it on anybody else.
Right.
That's the thing. I can't, and that's tough, because you can't blame, and it's easier to blame it on someone. When I did the show in New York, and there was, you know, certain bits, lighting cues or sound things that didn't work out right, it's easy to blame the lighting guy. But I'm like, no. So you just improvise and you work with it because it's my one-man show. You just make it whatever it's going to be, as long as the audience are entertained and there's no, I love entertaining. I do. I do.
Okay, well, you know what? Speaking of entertaining, sir, I'm gonna take you back because I could not find any. Oh my God! One of the things I like to do is to spoof people and really go back into their history. But there's nothing recorded on you. But you are a singer as well. You were in a band in your teenage years and things, and tell us a little bit about that. Are you going to incorporate your singing? Or do anything else with it, with your talents?
Well, I was in a band. I wasn't really a singer though. I was one of the songwriters, but I was good at dancing and all the somersaults and everything. But we was like that kind of Jodeci kind of group. So I was like the Dalvin of the group, or the Devontae. I didn't sing. The other guy sang, and I just kind of blended in and was like, hey, but I was good to rip off my shirt and somersault off the stage and, whatever it would take just to get everyone really, really excited. But having said that, I do have this little one dream. I would love to be a one-hit wonder.
Oh,
that's
really?
What I want. Yeah, I don't want to be I want to have one song and just have one hit, and that's going to be one of the things I do before my time's out.
Child, if it's the right song, honey, if it's the right song, that's all you need.
Yeah, that's it.
Did you know Disco Duck is still making that child some money? Ricky
that's it.
is still getting paid off of Disco Duck.
Really, that's it. I just want one hit, one song. That's it.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Child, he is getting paid to this day off of one hit. All you need is the right song.
Yeah, one song, that's it. People are like, no, why don't you want to do that? I'm like, no, because I'm not a singer. I don't want to do that. I just want to do one song that drives the world insane. And they're like, oh my God, let's just buy this record. Let's just entertain it, so we don't have to hear it no more. And then that's my work.
Exactly.
That's it.
I mean, we've had several. Billy Crystal, you look marvelous.
Yeah.
That was the catch. Eddie Murphy would party all the time.
Yeah. So if anyone's got that one song, that's it. I just want to do one song.
Okay. Now, since we're on goals and aspirations of what it is that you're looking to do, as you look over your career, at what you have done, what is it that you still wish to do that you haven't as of yet? And who is it that you like to work with?
I like to work with Johnny Depp, with Steven Spielberg, with Will Smith. There's a lot of people that I'd love to work with. These are the people that I watch on TV or in the movies, and I'm like, wow, they are brilliant. The way that they take roles and they switch up all the time. There's a lot to do. It's art, but it's also reflecting life. So there's so much character. There's so much work to be out there, and I just love to do good work. Even if it ain't good, I'm gonna make it good.
How about it? How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's get into the personal you for just a moment. What is it that Jason likes to do? What did you say? What is it that Jason likes to do, when we're not Baby GAT, we're not the 18 characters in Mosquito, we're not, hustling for the auditions or whatever. When you want to have fun, kick it and have fun, what is it that you like to do?
Damn. Well, there's a few things I love. I love free running. That's what I could free run for hours. Just me and my headphones, and I'll just be gone, And it's forgetting about everything. It's looking at my environment and saying if I can do it. I love doing that. I love playing the trumpet.
Really?
Yeah, I play the trumpet. I love being by myself, just doing my own thing. But then now the new thing is I love when I go home and spending time with my family and, listening to all the wild and crazy stories. And, I just love to be, That's it. Because before you go back to the madness, I just love to be and just chill. But really and truly, I love to. Nothing gives me a greater satisfaction than flipping from one building to the next and landing.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Okay. I love that. I love that. Now, here's the other question. In your business question. Yeah, the one. Is Jason Steed single?
Yeah, I'm single. It's really hard for me to find someone. You know that.
You know, in this particular, in this particular business, it is hard. Well, you know, relationships are hard anyway. But when you're in this business, it is hard because if you're not dating someone already in the business that understands the ups and downs, the problem that they end up having is, okay, we're busy trying to work and we don't see one another.
Yeah.
If you're dating someone who's not in the business, they don't get rehearsals and promotional tours and radio spots and you know, I got to go to this photo shoot, and they don't understand all that. All they know is you said you're supposed to be here at 5 o'clock.
That's it.
You know, a 14-hour day easily turns into a 22.5-hour day. You know, on a set. You know. And they don't get that. So what is it? What type of person is it that you look for? You know, when wanting to settle down and wanting to say, okay, this is the person who I want to have my personal time with.
Someone that's definitely got their own life and got their own thing, what they're doing. And if I'm not around, it's not a big, you know, because they're doing what they're doing and they're, you know, someone that can understand I do what I do because I love it. And I don't see it as a job. I don't see it as a career. And I find it hard when people say I'm working, especially on this. I'm like, I'm not working. I'm having fun. You know, I love nothing more than reading scripts and, you know, doing these kind of interviews and talking to you. You know, this isn't, you know, it's just fun. Because I decided to pick this, you know, as what I wanted to do with my life. So, and it's having someone that's almost got the same kind of thing where, you know, whatever they do, they're passionate about. You know, it's,
okay.
Because I remember seeing someone and she was an actress and she wanted to sit down there and run lines and do this and I was like, I'm just not that kind of person. I don't want to run over lines and, you know, I'm not that kind of actor, you know, wants to always do actory stuff. You know, I don't want to do. I don't want to run lines. I don't want to do that. I'm like, nah, don't want to. You know, and that was a note to self. Nah, you don't want to get with an actor that wants to do actor stuff. Be actorish every day. You know, let's read this line. Okay. I'm like, no.
You know, yeah, I do understand that because after so long, I'm not here to talk shop. I'm trying to have a moment with you or whatever. This is not about trying to run no damn lines and all that. And we just gonna have an ice cream, okay? You know. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So being single. Now you know what? Now here's the thing. That now. Does Baby GAT get in the way, or the persona of Baby GAT get in the way of you dating? Because a lot of folks are thinking that you're Baby GAT.
Definitely. And it's even more so now because they see it, and they're like, wow, he's wild and crazy. Oh, but then they also say, but you're a good actor. Are you acting now? So it's like they say they can't trust me.
Really?
They're like, oh, I can't trust you because, you know, you never know if you're going to tell the truth if you're an actor. And I'm like, yeah, you're so right because I'm not going to waste my time trying to convince you of anything. You know?
Well, dig that. Dig that. How many times have you gotten the "Are you bisexual" question?
Not really a lot. When people see my work, they never really. I guess before when no one had seen me or when they couldn't reach me or they might see me, and it's like they want to ask something, but you know, not really a lot. You know.
Now that's interesting. No, I would find that to be very interesting because I'm like, okay, with Baby GAT being, he was more so a closeted person anyway. Well, he not so much as closeted. He was more so just living the life. I guess we would say DL for business purposes, but very, very pronounced. And I know when you're approaching women or whatever, for those who know the show and follow it and all the fag hags out there, it just shocks me that didn't come up as more time than I would have thought.
They would probably have thought it until they met me. And then when they will meet me, because I guess what sometimes people, what always used to get me was, I remember saying this to a friend, I was like, wow, a lot of women watch Noah's Ark. And he's like, of course women watch Noah's Ark because there's a lot of good-looking black men there. And I was like, oh, okay. But I just didn't see it that way. I was like, oh, I thought, okay, it's a gay show and the gays will watch it, But then, so when he said that, I was like, of course they're gonna, But that was years ago. So even then, it was still a new thing to me. So when I do meet people, wherever that might be, and they might have got into it from their best friend loving it, but nah, not really.
All right. Well, are you looking to marry one day, have children, do the whole 9 yards, or are you comfortable being, someone who would say, okay, I will find my significant other when the right time is, and I'm just doing me?
Well, I would love to get married someday and have children and have a boat, and I would love it, and watch something grow and develop. I would love it. It's going to happen,
Okay, you better say that. He said, oh, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
It is going to happen. Okay.
It's going to happen.
Okay. I love it.
One thing I've learned is I am in control. And whatever you say, you proud of it. It's going to happen. You just have to be ready for it.
Okay. It works for me.
Yeah.
Now that works for me. Now let's see. Let everyone know where Mosquito is going to be playing. How can they get tickets and all of those kinds of things?
Okay, Mosquito is going to be playing at the Theater Asylum. On February the 13th and February the 20th, and that's 6320 Santa Monica Boulevard, LA 90038. To get tickets, you can go to my website, www.jasonsteed.info, and you can book tickets there. Tickets are $20. It's going to be a great show. If people want me to bring it to their town, you can email showmosquito@gmail.com or leave a thing on my website, and then we'll figure it to bring it to your town. If you've got an event or something, and you want to see me in all my glory, and entertain the crowd, I can be reached from there.
Okay, the show does travel. Okay.
Yeah, the shows. Yeah, that's what I would say to my friends. I said I'm like a man, and I could just whip this show out my back pocket anywhere I go in the world now. Bam, I got this show.
Wow, now see, that's love. That is love. That's love.
Yes, sir.
You know what? I don't know if I'm ready for a one-person show.
Of course you are.
I have characters up in me and this and that, but I don't know if I'm ready to take that leap. I've done drag. I've produced little cabaret shows, this, that, and the other, but I'm not sure if I'm ready for that step just yet. Here's a devil's advocate question for you. Because I've heard somebody say, oh, God, when people do one man, one woman shows or whatever, it always becomes this syrup and, violins and all of that kind of thing. And, a lot of, I know some people, and folks in this business, see a one-person show as, some kind of satire on their life, or some kind of what a soliloquy or whatever about your life, to where it becomes just all this muck and mire. What do you say to people?
I guess I'd say with something like that, when things happen in life, it's there. I don't own it. Whatever's happened to me in my life, I don't own it. I can just say, okay, this is what happened, but it's not mine to say, well, I'm not going to share, I'm going to keep it to myself. If people are not interested in it, like, well, it doesn't matter, I always think it's more in the presentation of how you present something,
Oh, dig that.
So, yeah, it's more how it's presented, Well.
Oh, dig that. I like that.
You can present anything you want to, and if you present it in the right way, people will accept it. If you're gonna, like, say, if my show, if I'm gonna be, like a slip my wrist show, it's gonna be talking about all the hardship, but it's so in that, my mom always just say, if you don't laugh, you can only cry. So it's, I love to laugh. So it's finding all the humor in everything that at some point could have made you just put a bullet to your brain and say, do a Kurt Cobain and bow, But you just keep it going and you rise up above it and you just say, okay. And then for people that watching it, because it's like same thing for me. When I was a child wanting to be an actor, I was watching other people's lives when I'd watched movies like The Five Heartbeats or certain, biographical movies about what people went through. So you need that, because it's a reminder to say, I am not here on my own, and somebody else has walked this path before me, and they did it, so why can't I?
Right, exactly. Now, listen here. You're a Capricorn, so are you a January or a December Capricorn?
I'm a January one, January the 14th.
So
I think I got the same date.
14th.
Yeah, I share the same birthday as LL Cool J.
Oh, get out of here. How fascinating. Yeah. All right, so happy birthdays are in order. I tell folks, because see, you're within that month. See, from the 14th to the 14th, you're still within that 30 days. I celebrate my birthday is March 4th, so I start February 28th, and I celebrate my birthday all the way to April 2nd. So I give everybody those same kudos. Yes, yes. It only comes once a year. So and being benevolent the other 11 months. I have to take 1 month and do me like I want to do me.
That's I love.
How about that?
I think I'm going to take a tip out of your book and do that too.
Okay. I take the entire month, baby, 31 days. And in this case, I used to go to April 1st, but I said, oh, that's April Fool's Day. Never mind, food, you need 1 more day. Thank you.
That's funny. So where are you? Are you in Atlanta?
Yes, I am. I'm in Atlanta. I'm from Detroit. And I now live in Atlanta. I've been here now for 5 years, and so that's how come when you were here, I missed you, and I was kicking myself in the teeth about that because I was like, no, I wanted to shake your hand, take pictures, and do the whole thing, load everything up on Facebook and all of that. So
I'm gonna be coming to Atlanta soon. I've not got the dates yet, but I'll let you know. I'm coming to perform in Atlanta. Yeah. And I love Atlanta, so I can't wait to get there and do a show.
Oh, darling, come on down, honey. Come on.
Wait.
And I can't wait for you to get here. Now, let's see, give everybody, we want to go to www.jasonsteed.info for more information on Mosquito, for ticket information, for the address of the theater. What's the name of the theater again?
Theater Asylum, and that's 6320 Santa Monica Boulevard. Any information on me, anything I'm doing, anything I'm up to, I've got blogs up there, and my site is it's really real new, and we worked hard, me and the web designer, Carl Morris. So it's all coming along. So anything you want to know for bookings, for appearances, just go to there. You can leave there's a contact page, come to my people, then as they say in America, we chop it up. Chop it up. Chop it up.
Okay. I cannot wait until we meet face to face because I'm digging your energy. I'm digging. I told you this is going to be so much fun.
Yeah,
And
I love it. Thank you.
I just enjoy you, and I'm enjoying your work. For everybody who have not seen his acting reel, you can also see that on his webpage as well. Or you can go on YouTube because it's also posted on his YouTube page, and you can see his acting reel and see other stuff that he's done. And I wish I had seen those particular films, honey, because it's one in particular that I need to see. You as the Army, I think you're Army general or something with the bald head or whatever. I need to see that. Okay. I need to see that was an intense piece. And I said, okay. So, just looking at your work and everything, I am just absolutely wonderfully just ecstatic about you. And I'm loving your journey coming from England over here. One of the things that I learned dealing with actors who come from other countries, I worked with a director as well from Russia. His name was Arkady. And Arkady used to always tell us that over in Russia and other places overseas, a person is not considered an actor until they had at least 20 years training, being in it and working it and understanding it and understanding the ins and outs. And he was saying that was the difference over here in America, that a lot of folks think that they're actors because of the projects that they've done, and they don't appreciate the work. Are you finding that over here as well, that a lot of actors are not necessarily appreciating the work, or are you seeing that some of the work is just shitty?
Personally, whatever the other actors do, however they perceive it, I have no problems. If it entertains and I enjoy it, I don't mind. It's always tough to say, well, in England it's like this, and you come to America and da-da. I come to America, it's a different world, a different environment, and you kind of adapt to it. Whatever it is here, I'm like, it's like the food here. I'm like, what's a collard green? Okay, but I don't eat that back home. Let me try it. But I don't want to come to America and say, well, your food is horrible, because then everyone will say, well, go back home. So I come to America and I love the land, and I'm not knocking it in one way. I don't. I don't. Because I know when I'm back in England, I'm like, damn, I can't wait to get back to America. So, whatever it is, it's all right with me. whether they appreciate it, if they don't, they're all right with me.
Okay, dig that. See, okay, and everything else is on them, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now here's the question: are you claiming dual citizenship, or is England still home?
England is still home for me. For now, it's still home for me for now. Yeah. Probably when I probably sell here, so probably in a couple more years if you ask me that again. But for now, where it's just still me on my own, tumbling around. I'm like, where all my family is and all my peoples, that's where home is.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to challenge you because you're going to have to show me how to tumble.
Of course. I'll do that.
When we meet, you're going to show me how to do a fantastic tumble for someone my size, because I need a cute little stunt now. I need to learn how to tumble. I'm going to throw a couple of hot kicks up in there so these bitches will know I still got it. And
I'm going to do that.
And we're going to call it Grace, okay?
I love it.
Then we have it. Okay. Okay, now with that, I am going to let you get back to your day, because I know that you're traveling, you're in transit. And for everybody's asking, what's all that noise? He's traveling, honey. He's in Chicago on his way back to L.A. and carrying on, so he's in transit. So I want to make sure that you don't miss.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'm on an adventure, man. I'm enjoying the country, and
Not an adventure. You know what? You're in Chicago. I got to come redeem myself in Chicago. The first and only time I was there was 11 years ago, and I got shows. Yes, it was embarrassing. I got so drunk. It wasn't intentional. It was not intentional. It's just that we were bar hopping, and I downed my liquor. I had 3 kamikazes back to back because they had just paid for it. I was not going to leave a drink on the bar. You just paid for it. Then tell me, okay, let's go. I don't waste money like that. So I downed this drink, and when I got outside, the cold air hit me, and
that was
oh my God, it was totally accidental. And I said, oh, so I've not been there in that long because I've been embarrassed to show my face. I think somebody still knows me. So I have to go back and redeem myself.
That is funny. I love it. I hope they got pictures of it too.
There's a couple. I have them. Oh, it's ridiculous. But yeah, so let me let you get back so you can get into your space, your travel zen.
Thank you. And I just want to say to everyone, thanks for listening. You know, thanks to you for bringing me on your wonderful show, man. I had a great time. You know, to my family, to Nathan Clough, Ludwig Bonning, Ricky Buda Blair, Patrick Polk, everyone else that, you know, and all the people in LA. Okay. I can't wait to see you.
All right there. And you know what? There is that when we see, we do the whole 9 yards dinner, a couple of labs, all of that. And then you're going to show me how to tumble. And then we'll call it great.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
So I'm going to be coming to Atlanta soon, so you just be ready.
Okay.
Watch out for me, Atlanta.
Okay. In your face. Okay. So with that, my darling, thank you for dishing your tea with Big Meach. And, yes, I will talk with you soon, okay? So travel safely and have a wonderful, 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 wonderful show. All of your reviews have been coming back fabulously. So hey, kick ass in L.A., baby.
I will. Thank you so much.
Okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right.
As we say in English, cheerio. See you later. Thanks.
Oh, yeah, cheerio. Thank you.
All right. See you later.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Oh, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, honey, that there was the fabulous Mr. Jason Steed. Can you stand it? Can you stand it? Oh, Lord. I know some of you are upset because he's straight. I already know. Your hearts are broken, okay, and things of that nature. However, it's okay. It's okay. Honey, you must do like I do, honey. Shit, keep it a fantasy, honey. Jack to it or whatever. It'll be all right. Now, before we end up leaving, I told you guys, honey, I wanted to have a couple of special announcements. And one of them is the fact that my coach, and what a wonderful way to do this, seeing that we're talking about acting and projects and carrying on. My coach from high school, Miss Susan Story, is going to be making her directorial debut post retirement. She's doing this. And it is a wonderful thing. She has gone on and taking the vagina monologues and going to do it the way that I know we do it. Okay. So if you're up for a wonderful, wonderful treat, honey, I am going to invite you. If you're in the Detroit area, let's see, the address is 240 North Main Street in Plymouth, Michigan. That's where it is, in Plymouth, Michigan. And the tickets are $10. You want to go to www.justgobarefoot.com. That's www.justgobarefoot.com for all of your ticket information and all of your programming. And I'm sorry, I'm sitting up here looking at the computer. Just for all of the information. And also, do know this, that portions of the proceeds will be going to the First Step organization. And that organization is a domestic violence healing center where they help women and with children who have been in domestic relationships and carrying on to rebuild their lives and to restructure and to get back on their feet. Also, what is going to be interesting here is that there's a featured artist who is also a part of the La Trope des Arts team, Mr. Peter Jackson, Five More Artists Detroit. Yes, yes, yes. He's going to be there. He's going to be showcasing some of his prize pieces that will be up for sale as well. So a portion of those proceeds from the artwork will be donated to the Barefoot Productions for the ongoing of their particular programming. Okay? But yeah, the Vagina Monologues by Eve Ensler. Yes. And also a footnote on that is just Latrobe Desart coming together. One of our own, honey. She is becoming one of Detroit's divas, honey. But she always has been in my book. But as far as career building, she has been showcasing her talents as an actress, as a singer. Okay, the girl has chops, baby. Miss Chandra Tippler will be also one of the characters in the Vagina Monologues there. So you want to get your tickets now. This show is going to be this coming Friday, starting at 7 o'clock, going until 10. And we're going to be at the Barefoot Theater from Barefoot Productions at 240. That's 240 North Main Street in Plymouth, Michigan. So that there is lovely. Okay? Also, dealing with Five More Artists Detroit, if you want to put a program, advertise in the program booklet, please let us know. Give us a shout out at 248-688-5178. That's 248-688-5178. Ads are going for as little as $25 for a business card size ad, and we'll give you more information once you call. I'm encouraging all of you who have projects or actors or whatever to come out and to put into this particular. Okay? This thing is hollering in my ear. We're down to the last 60 seconds of the show. I love the fact that you have chosen to use me as your arresting tool today and to come on in and to dish your tea. So if you love me, tell a friend, honey. If you hate me, tell an enemy. But do know this, honey, one way, shape, style, form, or fashion, this thing will move forward. Okay, we give it to you like it's given to us, honey. Fabulously and fierce, not shady or cynical. So finish all of your crumpets, honey, because the tea has been dished, and you've been dishing tea, darlings. With Big Meach. I talk with you again very, very soon, honey. Next week, I want you to come on in. We will be doing Don't Come Out of a Bag Wednesday, where we're going to be talking about this gay bashing incident that happened here in Atlanta just a few days ago. The man who killed his kids and some other things. So we'll see you next week. Okay, until then, ciao.